The Journey in Search of Pollen by Milena Niedzwiedzka.
Molly was always told that she was special, because she was one of the few elves with wings. Her grandma had always told her that having wings was an extra special talent for an elf, as it meant that she could fly long distances, over mountains and over rivers, whilst the other elves would have to walk, swim and climb. Each day Molly was sent out to gather pollen from flowers. This meant flying a short distance to the flower patches on the other side of the meadow. Over recent weeks, Molly was finding it harder and harder each time to find pollen. Most of the flowers were empty. She flew back to her community to explain. The next day, on her daily pollen search, Molly met a bumblebee, Bzz Zig, who was also helping himself to the pollen from a big, beautiful flower. Molly explained that the pollen was running low and that her family and friends were hungry after having very little to eat. Bzz Zig told Molly how his family and friends were also hungry, as he had been unable to collect pollen to feed them. Bzz Zig told Molly of a secret flower patch beyond the mountains, where hundreds and hundreds of flowers grew full of pollen. He warned her that it was a long and dangerous journey. Molly decided to go to the secret flower patch, eager to feed her family and friends. Molly followed the directions that the bumblebee had given her and checked her map for where she could fly. She flew for many days, passing mountains, rivers and forests, but still hadn't come across the flower patch. As she flew, her wings became weary as she had little energy. And just as she was about to give up, Molly spotted a large patch of pink below her. As she got closer, it became clearer that she had found the secret flower patch. The flowers were larger and brighter than any she had seen before. She dove into the head of one large flower and covered herself in pollen. She happily sat and ate a belly full of pollen before filling her bag with more pollen to take back with her to her friends and family. After resting a long while, Molly decided to plan her flight back to her community. She thought about all the happiness her bag full of pollen would bring to her family and friends. As she sat and ate some more, Molly thought of what her grandma had told her all those years ago about her being a special elf. When she was younger, she had been upset that she had wings and none of the other elf children had them. She was upset to be different. Now she thought how lucky she had been to have grown wings that had helped her gather the food to feed her family and friends. She suddenly believed what her grandma had told her. She really was special.